Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, welcome back. This is Balatro every day, and today we did it. Specifically this, 100,000 subscribers. Incredible. By now you know I'm not a very emotional person, I'm not a very reactive person. I don't consider myself a very humble person either, though I do try not to be too boastful. So I'm going to try to do this in the most authentic way possible. And I'm going to start by saying, when you subscribe, YouTube doesn't necessarily feed you every video. And when you don't subscribe, YouTube will still feed you content from creators that you've watched recently. So when you subscribe, you don't actually gain anything. When you don't subscribe, you don't actually miss out on anything. Subscribe if you want, and if you don't, I don't think anyone should hold it against you. What matters most is you watch the videos you want to watch, you skip the videos you want to skip. You putting on the video at 2 times speed in the background while you play Minecraft, this tells YouTube, hey, this other person, they might want to listen to this to help them fall asleep. Usually when I say stuff like this, when I say we did it, usually I mean just me, but this time I do mean us. You did this. I want to give a special shout out to some gal named Eve. You've probably seen this name before in the comments because she comments multiple times on every video. She goes around answering people's questions, making people feel welcome. Awesome. Also, I want to give a shout out to Zano. If you've been enjoying the shorts that we started doing on this channel, Zano does 100% of the work. Zano has his own Twitch stream, he has his own YouTube channel, he has a full day job, and then in the wee hours of the night, he does all of the editing, he does all of the shorts. Alright, story time. Before I started doing YouTube, I got a PhD in mathematics. If you didn't already know this, most people are not at all surprised to find out. And when you get a PhD in mathematics, the common thing to do is to stay in academia, become a college professor yourself. I promise it's not a pyramid scheme, this is actually the thing that I wanted to do. And a common stepping stone, you fly across the country for some temporary teaching position. 1, 2, sometimes 3-year contract. I was only able to get a 1-year contract in Texas. And this allows you to develop a little bit more teaching experience, a little bit more reputation in the academic community before you start applying more seriously for these tenure track permanent jobs. What that looks like is you're putting in 80 to 100 applications in the fall. You're applying for a job for the next fall. And these jobs will receive 400 to 500 applicants each, so you're not going to hear from them for a while. In the late winter or early spring, then you start to hear back, and if they like you, if they really like you, if you're in the top 2 or 3, you get a campus visit. You get to fly out and tour the campus and meet all the cool people who work there and decide for yourself, oh, is this a job that you actually want? You actually want to work there. I ended up being second place 3 times. And obviously, it sucks to put in all this time and energy and wait all this time just to be rejected. So I gave up. Honestly, I gave up. And I just allowed my contract to run out in, somewhere in the summer of 2023. Now I'm unemployed. In retrospect, I think this ended up being a very positive thing for me. Obviously, at the end of the day, I didn't get any of the jobs that I applied for, but I did come close. Looking back at it now, out of respect for all the people I went to school with and all of the really cool people I met in Texas when I was teaching temporarily, these other campuses that I got to visit, I think if I had gotten any of these jobs, I would have been really terrible at it. And you can say it's just imposter syndrome, but I feel very strongly I would have been a really terrible math professor long term. There's just so much more to the job than you might realize. Anyway, here we are in the summer of 2023. This is the peak of my depression. And what I mean by that is I'm not mad, I'm not sad, I'm just not feeling anything. Just sort of ceasing to function, ceasing to be a human being. And one thing which helps me get through it, or at least helps me fill the time, is watching Gothic Lord UK on YouTube. Balatro has a closed beta. Gothic Lord is one of the few people who gets to play it. He's an early adopter, early supporter. Really funny guy, chill guy, wholesome, thoughtful too. I learned about Balatro from Gothic, and then in September there's a demo. There's a public demo, now everyone can play. Now I can play. And for whatever crazy reason, I decided to join the Balatro Discord. This is the first time ever doing this for any game, joining the game development Discord. And part of that is just I got nothing better to do. I'm unemployed now, so I'm going to spend all day, every day playing the game and writing out essay after essay, arguing with children on the Discord. The whole reason I created the YouTube channel was just to flex, just to show off, right? Oh, you thought you had a high score? Let me show you a higher one. You thought you had a good strategy? Let me show you a better one. Here's this thing that you thought was impossible. Here, let me show you how to do it. And then this happens. Sorry about the wall of text, let me try to explain. When we're in the Discord, we're not just arguing with each other, Local Thunk is also there. The developer of the game is in the trenches with us. He's leading or at least participating in our daily discussions. And then, when it's time to prepare the full game for release, he picks a couple of us and invites us to play the full game before everybody else. And the rest is history. I want to take a moment to appreciate how lucky I am to have discovered Balatro through Gothic's content early enough that I could play the demo before the game became super popular. How lucky I am that the game that I sunk all this time into did end up becoming as popular as it did, or as it is now. How lucky I am that the developer was as active in the Discord community as he was, and how lucky I am to be given this specific opportunity to play the game before everyone else. Whenever I do something interesting or crazy on this channel, I attribute it to I've just played the game longer than everyone else. I've thought about the game more than everyone else. And part of that is the channel has grown to the point where I don't need to do anything else. I think that's very special. I think that's very lucky. And I'm very thankful now. And now I get to do something fun that I couldn't have done a year ago. When we announced 50,000 subscribers, there were plenty of people in the comments giving congratulations, and there were a couple people who gave me money. If that sounds like you, consider doing this instead. Consider making a contribution to the Transgender Education Network of Texas, or TENT for short. Once again, sorry about the wall of text here, but basically the idea is they give food, shelter, counseling to transgender people, transgender youth, educational workshops for families and potential allies, just generally trying to help people become better allies. One thing I think is particularly cool, they work directly with the legislature, writing and proposing bills which could, in theory, make everyone's lives better. If you don't feel like you have the money to spare or don't have the time to spare to be a volunteer, or maybe you don't even live anywhere near Texas, you can't become a volunteer for that reason, do this for me. Take a few minutes and just write a nice message. Write something nice. Write something nice for someone who may not yet realize that this is what they needed to hear. Do this for me. Take care, everyone.